Depression is like a bully. Depression is like diabetes. Depression is like hypothermia. In this video, I'm going to talk about when depression struck our family and how thinking about depression in these three ways helped us to better manage the symptoms and help those that were really suffering. 46.4% of adults in the US have met the criteria for a mental health disorder sometime in their lives. 1 in 5 US adults have met this criteria in the past year. Given these stats, I wanted to share this story with you because odds are someone who's watching this video either knows somebody who's suffering from a mental health disorder or they are themselves suffering from a mental health disorder. I want to tell you about someone who my wife knows and loves. This person has a great family. They're very active in their church. They have a great job. On the outside, this person seems to have it all. But this person also suffers from major depressive disorder, or just commonly known as depression. Several years ago, this person who she deeply cared for was in a very dark place. Their work was suffering. Their family was suffering. Their health was suffering. They never thought that they could ever feel happy again. That was me. I have dealt with some form of depression for most of my life, but several years ago, I fell into a depressive state that I've really never felt before. However, with the help of family and friends and my faith, I was able to come out of this dark place, and I've been in remission for several years now. So I would like to share my experience of recovery through some of the darkest days of my life and tell you what my friends and family did to help me recover. I found depression to be very similar to 3 afflictions that can impact us in our mortal life: a bully, diabetes, and hypothermia. So first, imagine someone you love told you that they were being bullied, and this bully was saying horrible things to them and would not stop. Now imagine this loved one invited the bully to live with them, to go to school with them, to go to parties with them, to be with them when they wanted to be alone, or when they were trying to sleep or dream, or when they were simply trying to find peace. For me, depression and anxiety was the same way. I had an internal bully that never left me alone. But it was my wife, my therapist, and my friends who helped me combat this bully, the negative self-talk that comes from depression. It was them that had to tell me over and over and over again that I am loved. I can do great things. People like having me around. I make the world a better place. I am worth it. I can have peace. They said that to me over and over and over and over again until I started to believe it. Then I started to tell myself over and over and over and over again until I could defend myself against the internal bully of negative self-talk. Let's talk about diabetes for a second. Diabetes is a chronic disease that impacts a lot of people. But the symptoms can be well managed by talking to your doctor, by taking regular medication if needed, by exercising regularly, and by eating a healthy diet. The treatment for depression is very similar. It was my wife and my support system that helped me to follow the prescribed care to treat this chronic illness. When I was at my lowest, I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to sleep and I wanted to sit on the couch and do nothing else. So it was my wife that helped me to see doctors regularly. These doctors prescribed me medication, which was very important for me at the time. They also prescribed eating healthy and exercise, which in hindsight was equally as important for me. And it was my wife that helped me to do those things. Depression, just like diabetes, cannot be managed passively. It won't just go away. It requires persistence and faith from both the caretaker and the sufferer to do what needs to be done, just like with any other chronic disease. Lastly, depression can be like hypothermia. I heard a story once about a mountain ranger who would very often save people who were trapped up in the mountains, and they were often suffering from hypothermia. And the hardest part about rescuing those people was not carrying them down the mountain, but it was getting them to want to be saved. Because just like with depression, one of the symptoms of hypothermia is apathy. So one tactic that this mountain ranger would use was to get these people who are suffering from hypothermia to think of their families, to think about, hey, if you die on this mountain, what's going to happen to your family? I found the treatment for depression to be very similar. Often what helped me to think about others was serving other people who are less fortunate than I. I live in Houston. Houston was one of the hardest hit cities from Hurricane Harvey. There was widespread flooding and absolute destruction. You would drive down the street and it would look like a war zone. It was absolutely devastating for many, many people. I am so grateful for those that allowed me to serve them during some of their hardest times, because that gave me a clear purpose every single day. As I was serving, I was able to put my own problems into perspective as I was helping other people rebuild their lives. For those that I helped, they helped me way more than they'll ever know. Once you get somebody who wants to be saved, one of the treatments for hypothermia is to get them out of their wet clothes. In the case of my depression, my wet clothes was mental, spiritual, and social isolation. Going to work, serving as a mentor, caring for my family sometimes seemed like insurmountable tasks. But with gentle encouragement and, quite frankly, not so gentle encouragement, my wife made sure that I did those things anyway, because getting out of the cold of isolation always made me feel better. Even letting a trusted friend come and talk to me brought me out of my isolation. To those caretakers who are helping those who are suffering, take care of yourself and don't lose hope, because hope is never lost. If you are unsure what to do, just reach out and be there to listen. For me, a smile, a "how are you doing?" very small gestures made a huge difference to me. To those who are suffering from depression or anxiety or some other mental health disorder, just know that you are not alone. You don't have to tell the whole world that you're suffering from this, but I found that whoever I did tell always treated me with care and love, and I received nothing but support. And if anything, you can always reach out to me, because I've been there too. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comments or give it a like. I truly want to help those who are suffering, because I've lost some friends to depression, and I don't want anybody else to suffer. So there are links to crisis centers, there are links to resources. Please, please, please take care of yourself. There is hope. Hope is not lost.